So it's the end of September 2015. And I think back to just 6 months ago, in the middle end of March, earlier this year. Who knew? Who knew? None of us, not even the astrologers. We should have seen it coming, really. Two big things we never really, or most astrologers nearly didn't take into account. Yours truly did predict it, of course, but hey, who listens to a madman? I was saying for a long time over the last 2 or 3 years about how the Uranus-Pluto square was going to have rather dramatic effects in the March and April and May of 2015. But even I didn't expect to see what happened, really. I mean, the sort of economic breakdown in Europe was never really predicted. Still, out of it, 1 or 2 countries have cut loose. They've got their own currencies back. There is a sense of order beginning to permeate. However, we're in the middle of Jupiter opposite Neptune, so you can't take anything as real. I mean, for example, who would have thought of that result of the British general election? And consequently the next one in about 6 to 7 weeks' time. I reckon they'll call the second election around about the second week in November this year, I suspect. And who knows what the outcome's going to be from there, but it won't be another single minority government, that's for sure. There'll have to be some type of proportional representation finally coming in. And that's perhaps epitomising the Jupiter opposite Neptune situation that we've got now. Because Jupiter, if nothing else, does bring a sense of higher-minded philosophy into the equation. And when it's opposite Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is kind of dissolving and slipping away the old stereotypes of shame and guilt. So there is a call for a new social order beginning to evolve now. Of course, with Jupiter opposite Neptune, of course, there's also this energy of flood that's around. And witness the sudden developments in marine technology of just the last couple of months. Now that CERN has finally got its act together and we're starting to see water power as well as solar power beginning to come back into the news again, I suspect that alternative energy methods, particularly hydro and wind and solar, are going to become bigger and bigger news over the coming year. However, Jupiter opposite Neptune, you can never quite trust it. There's always going to be something going on in the background that you can't quite put your finger on. There's something nebulous that's going to be over large, over expansive, over the top. Who knows what it's going to be? I suppose with Neptune in Pisces, there's always this thing of a flood and a surge, and Jupiter will tend to amplify that. But I'm not suggesting that the ice caps are going to melt, and I'm not suggesting that there's going to be some type of major trauma that's going to release a flood of empathy. I wonder instead if it's going to be some type of flood or deluge of refugees, or of some type of epidemic, or some type of compassion fatigue that sweeps the world. One thing's for sure, with Jupiter opposite Neptune, a few people are going to be suffering, and the first signs of famine once again are appearing in Africa. So I do expect the coming few weeks over the end of September and the start of October this year to become more and more extreme, actually. It's my opinion that this time, i.e. the last 2 weeks of September, particularly the eclipse of the full moon about the 27th of September and the first week or so of October, to be larger than life and over the top, but also to expose gaping holes in our society and across global society, and the ways in which we care or not for others, regardless of nationality or location on the planet. So perhaps Jupiter Neptune is teaching us, perhaps, either to completely shut down and be callous and ruthless and make whatever cull is necessary, or to reach out and have a much more generalized, equal share of wealth and resources around the world in order that everyone can then benefit. Of course, with Jupiter opposite Neptune, there will have to be some type of balance between the needs of people to have faith and the needs of people to have lots of children, because overpopulation is rapidly becoming the biggest source of over-the-topness on the planet. And, you know, with Saturn coming up a square Neptune over the coming 9 months, who knows? Catch you later. Bye.